MLB.com got all of the team beat writers together and put together a piece, the most surprising developments for each MLB team. And so Kennedy Landry, the great Kennedy Landry, friend of the Get Right, put together her most surprising development for the Texas Rangers. And we can get to the rest of the division as well. And we got to talk about my pet cat in Major League Baseball, Mason Miller.
Mason Miller's a dog.
We finally have an idea of what his trade market could look like. We'll get to that here in a little bit. But for the Rangers, what would you say is the most surprising development for this team so far this season?
I feel like there's only one. Well, there's many answers. Okay, let's just put that out there before I stick my foot in my mouth. There's one very good answer there.
Development as in, there's a lot of kind of ways to look at.
Is it kind of like surprise move? Is that what you were trying to say?
Yeah, most surprising development for each team.
Cody Bradford, but he got hurt.
He was kind of in there until he got hurt.
Wyatt's been okay. Everyone I'm saying is now on the injured list.
I mean, there's a position player that is filling
Leote?
a legitimate spot for an injured player.
Leote's been pretty solid. I gave him a lot of crap, and he's been on base in 14 or something straight games. I'm gonna go Leote's my answer.
Okay.
So I know James is going to be Josh Smith.
Yep, that's
awesome answer.
That's a fair one.
And you both are not certified ball knowers because that's not the answer. I'm kidding.
Oh,
I'm kidding.
I was about to say, I was like,
It's not the answer, but still, you guys are ball knowers, and I agree with both of yours, except for Blake's. I don't think Leote's been that great.
There's two other answers on there.
I'm trying to give Leote some props because I was hating on him heavy talking about.
Okay, he's been heating up offensively.
He's been doing better.
Defensively is still kind of suspect.
Yeah,
he worries me defensively.
Yes,
he's not going to win an MVP, but
offensively, he's tearing the cover off the baseball right now. I'll give him that. He's one of the streakiest hitters we have seen in a minute. And no, the answer that Kennedy Landry goes with is the one that really has caught my eye all season. And if I were doing a blind response to this probably would be my first or second entry. The low-key off-season bullpen signings have been paying off.
Yep.
The Rangers' biggest flaw last season was the bullpen's inability to close out games. In the 2023 regular season, Texas finished 30 for 63, a.k.a. 47.6%, in save opportunities, a.k.a. not good. The front office then added two high-leverage bullpen arms this offseason in veterans David Robertson, who currently has a 0.96 ERA, and Kirby Yates, who still has a 0.
Kirby Yates is he's nails. You bring him out here, the game's over.
And they have become a formidable 1-2 punch at the back end of the bullpen, and it's really just because of experience. And I mean, you saw it yesterday. David Robertson looked fantastic. He just needed, for 3 outs, I think he only needed 10 pitches.
He was near immaculate.
Yeah, and it should have been immaculate because I think it was the third pitch on the third batter was called a ball, but it was right on the edge.
I mean, it was there. It was that borderline call.
It was there.
I got to ask, Alec, because you are a certified ball knower when it comes to around the bases. Jose,
I like how you think I'm some expert in baseball.
This is my baseball expert.
I just watch baseball. I'm not an expert.
Guys.
I'm just a fan of the game.
Alec is a savant. Don't let him.
It's called 105.3 The Fan, not 105.3 The Expert. I'm a fan of the game.
Okay, so as a fan, Jose Leclerc, amazing last year, especially in the postseason. Did you predict where he would kind of be, or did you expect him to be that guy? And is him falling off and the other guy stepping up a surprise to you? Something that's worrisome, not worrisome? Obviously, the other guys are doing well, but I'm saying with the Jose Leclerc, where you're like, wow, I'm almost so happy because we didn't know what to think of this guy, or where are you at with Leclerc and seeing how the bullpen is doing so well, even without maybe his contributions not needed as much?
I mean, I kind of get what you're saying, but as of late, he hasn't been bad.
Yeah.
Like, there's this weird narrative that surrounds him that I think is pretty unfair.
Talk about it.
Just because he'll have a bad game every now and then. Guess what? It's baseball. There's 162 games. You're going to have a bad game every now and then. And he does get lost in the moment sometimes. He does lose his command sometimes, but here as of late, he hasn't been as bad as people make it out to seem. I mean, like, let's see. his last outing against Oakland in game 2, he did give up a run, but outside of that, he has not given up an earned run since April 9th.
Pretty good.
Like,
I would take that any day of the week.
And I get it. He's going to walk a guy. Like, sure, in April, he walked 5 batters in how many appearances? 3, 6, 8 appearances. He walked 5 batters. Yeah, he's going to lose control of the strike zone every now and then. Here in May, already he's walked 3 guys. He's going to walk people, and walks end up hurting you, especially in leverage situations if you are not careful. But he's not giving up any kind of major damage right now. I mean, so far this month in 4 outings, he's allowing a 200 batting average. He allowed a 206 batting average in April. I don't see what other people see, if we're being totally honest. I feel you can tell me. Am I missing something?
No.
Has he been worse? Because box score watching is a sport in and of itself, but there's nothing that screams to me you need to be worried about him. Mm-hmm. I think he just needed to kind of ramp back up, find his confidence, because Boch has talked about it. Mike Maddox has talked about it. Jose Leclerc, he's an emotional player. He's really invested. So when things aren't going well, he feels it. When things are going well, he feels it. He just needs to find his confidence. And when he does, he is a closer. He is a high leverage 8th inning guy.
We saw it last year.
Yeah, and he's a guy that would give you 6-out saves. He's a guy that would close out games for multiple innings. And you saw it with other guys too. Josh Sborz, notably in Game 5 of the World Series.
Josh Sborz was 1 game away in the regular season from being DFA'd. He ended up going on the IL, and then he's the hero in the World Series. So you can see how 1 game really just transforms your entire perspective on these relievers.
And we were even joking about it last year whenever Sborz did get hurt. We're like, he made up an injury, so he didn't have to get DFA'd.
Yeah, the team beat the crap out of him so he could go down and, just be on the IL so they don't have to really make a move.
Exactly. And in that time, he was able to reevaluate some things, probably work with the pitching staff and the coaches and say, what's not working here? Maybe find a mechanical issue that you can kind of round out and smooth out. And it worked because he was pivotal for you in the postseason, as was Jose Leclerc. He was really good for you, too, at the end of the year and into the postseason. So, yeah, I mean, the bullpen as a whole hasn't really given me too many reasons to be overly concerned. I mean, some of the younger guys have had some rough outings, but
Cole Wins looked good.
Yeah, Cole Wins looked, for the most part, really good. And he had, 1 bad game where he was due because I think he went 7 scoreless innings to start his career.
1 bad game. That's not going to kill you.
Yeah, and he was due because like a guy that young and that hasn't been a reliever for more than just maybe a season in the minor leagues. That's impressive. And at some point, you're going to face a lineup that's going to figure you out. That's fine.
I think I want to pad those stats that you kind of talked about whenever you're talking about Robertson and Yates. Saw this stat on Twitter earlier today. 35 2/3 innings pitched for David Robertson and Kirby Yates. An ERA under 1, 43 strikeouts, just 12 walks. 112 batting average against, a .67 whip. Those are 2 veterans that have been in this situation before. Robertson, former closer, Yankees, Mets, Yates, same thing, Padres, Braves. They've been around the league, and I think I tuned in trying to see where it was, but Chris Young was talking about just how good these guys were, and the only question was really the medical, but he trusted them, and that's why he brought them into this bullpen.
Yeah, and David Robertson, you're talking about a guy that is now north of 800 career appearances. So having veteran experience in the back end of your bullpen is a fantastic thing, and it's paid dividends early on. I do want to pivot real quick before we go to break. Mason Miller, if we're talking about leverage guys, he's not an experienced
I just
guy.
love this guy, Alec. Go on. I love this Mason Miller cat.
So you just faced him against the Oakland A's in Game 1 of the doubleheader. He actually pitched 2 innings for them, and I didn't know because I haven't studied him a whole lot. I didn't know he was a multi-inning guy because he throws a 102-mile-an-hour fastball. But in 16 1/3 innings, Miller has struck out 33 while allowing only 7 hits and 4 walks. His 55% strikeout rate is by far the highest among major league relievers. His ERA is 1.1. His opponent's batting average is 125. And his expected numbers in both categories, 0.76 ERA and 0.87 batting average.
No, he's a dog, Alec. You're lucky to get a hit off of him.
No pitcher in baseball throws harder. Miller's average fastball velocity of 100.8 miles per hour ranks just ahead of Minnesota Twins' Yohan Duran, who is at 100.7. The A's, in theory, could replace Miller with their setup man Lucas Erceg, who has been almost as good. He really has, who has the sixth highest average fastball velocity at 98.6, but the 1-2 punch of them in late innings has been very valuable. But all this being said, Ken Rosenthal reporting a few hours ago, naturally a lot of teams are calling the Oakland A's with trade interest for Mason Miller, the right-hander closer, and no team reportedly has come close to the A's asking price, according to a team source. Perhaps no team will, is what they're also inferring. He's 25 years old. He's not only their best young player, but he's their best player, period. To acquire him, a team likely will need to give up a young player of comparable ability or a substantial package of multiple youngsters who could be part of the A's future. So, just to give you an idea, if the Padres, who are trading for everybody, if they wanted Miller at this early stage, the A's likely ask would be for rookie center fielder Jackson Merrill, and then other teams would be hit with similar requests. Baseball Trade Values estimates a fair deal with the Baltimore Orioles would involve two of Keith Law's top 100 prospects, corner infielder Kobe Mayo, number 27 out of the Major League Baseball farm system, and Enrique Bradfield Jr., number 64. So you're talking about top 100 prospects you're going to have to give up, and multiple of them for multiple reasons. This is the main reason. All the on-the-field success accounted for. Miller's making just $740,000 this season.
Oof.
He's not eligible for arbitration until 2026, and he's under team control until 2029.
Yeah.
2029.
A's have had
5 years.
This is not the first time we've seen the A's draft well and have good guys in their farm and in their system, and then they can never keep them. Never keep them.
So, Alec, I think that kind of begs the question before we go. What would you give up if the Rangers wanted to go get him?
Yes. That's my answer.
Yes?
Yes. My answer is yes.
Okay.
I don't care what it is.
I'd give up Alec.
Wow.
Shots fired.
I'd respect it, if we're being honest. I'd actually respect it.
I think Brock Porter would be in discussion of being a guy to get traded on number 3 prospect.
I'd be fine with moving him for that.
And Justin Foscue.
Because you're betting on what could be instead of what is.
Yeah.
What is Mason Miller is the best closer in baseball right now.
Absolutely.
What could be is Brock Porter is an ace in the future. You don't know that.
He's a high school arm. Those guys are not always going to pan out.
This is true.